on the topic, the power of personalization, creating curated learning journeys for everyone. And for this, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Ashish Mathew, who is Director 𝗷𝗵𝗂𝗐𝗵𝗂, Adobe Digital Learning Business, and carries over experience of approx 2 decades now. He's currently dealing with clients globally, helping them solving organizational learning challenges. And with him, we'll have their client joining in, who is Mr. Dinesh Bhaskaran, Manager Digital Learning, Learning and Development at 𝗓𝗵𝗲. Giving a brief introduction for Dinesh, he's a veteran in the Learning and Development Department with over a decade of experience across L&D, instructional design and visual design. Dinesh wears multiple hats and has led the transformation of digital learning at 𝗓𝗵𝗲. With this, please welcome them with a huge round of applause.
And I hope the lunch is settled down. Right, so, the UBS team graciously introduced me that I work with 𝗷𝗵𝗂𝗏. I don't work for World Life or, 𝗷𝗵𝗏 Food Foundation or anything like that, right? I work with Adobe. And I work with clients globally, like leaders like yourself, HR leaders, CLOs, right? And that's what I've been doing for the last 17 years of my life. So while I'm a salesperson and I'm here in this forum, right? Why I'm here in this forum is because all of you are my clients, right? And I've been working with, your peers in different countries, different geographies. So very, very unique role that I have. And it's exciting here because I see a lot of problems and challenges that I hear from your peers in different regions, be it in North America, be it in Europe. It's pretty similar in India also, right? Like we're talking about the same problems, we're talking about the same challenges and everything. Right, so it's an interesting topic for me, the power of personalization. And I heard some of our esteemed guest speakers talk about it. I heard Mr. Pandian talk about customization, democratization of learning, right? And a few of the folks talked about personalization of learning and everything. So it's a very, very, very exciting topic, right? And personally, it's a very exciting topic for me. Just to give you guys some background, I transitioned my career from hospitality industry to technology sales. That was like 20 years back, right? So I used to work in a hotel group not far from here, Leela, and I transitioned into the tech space. And when this transition happened, I was thinking, right, there should have been some learning path for me, right? Because it was all grind, like I had to toil, I had to learn by all the grind. But now things have changed, right? And I see there is a lot of focus organizations are putting in terms of personalization, customization, keeping the learners at the front of everything. So, let's hope this thing works. Okay, so I'll continue. I'll let it figure out. So as I talk to a lot of leaders in last, I think 3-4 years, the learning space learning domain has like exponentially changed, right? There is a lot going on in the learning domain. And I'm pretty sure all of you are aware of it, right? You guys are in the thick and center of this, right? All these changes which is going on. So when the pandemic struck, everybody was like looking for, do we have the right tech, right? How do we do virtual training, right? How do we teach? How do we engage employees for, right? After some time, the theme changed, right? After some time, the theme became that the Great Resignation started, right? How do we retain employees, right? How do we reskill? How do we upskill, right? And now, what I'm mostly hearing from a lot of leaders is, okay, we have all the tech, and you guys heard from some of your peers as well. There is a tech overload, right? And Sonali ma'am showed that elephant as well, right? Like, what's this big elephant? There is so much of tech available, right? But how, is it solving the problems? Is it making the impact? Are we able to focus on our learners, what the learners really want, right? Okay. A very famous quote by a very famous personality, I'm sure, right? Learning is an experience, everything else is just information. I think based on my experience, my interactions, I see the way the role for the L&D leaders have changed. Like, you guys are in power. You're in the center of everything, right? There is a lot of changes going on, right? How do the organizations changed? Some of the folks were talking about learning in the flow of work. There is a new concept now. Learning in the flow of work is done. The new concept is growth in the flow of work, right? All the learning that we are impacting, how it is impacting, how is it helping our employee, and somebody talked about it, what's in it for me, right? Is this the learning experience your learners have, right? So when you think about your audience, when you think about your employees, do you know whether they're having this experience of jumping with joy, right? Or is it like, we're just slamming training at them, like we're sending them different learning. We don't even know whether they're enjoying that experience, whether they're not enjoying that experience, right? Is this the experience? Let me ask a question, and anybody can volunteer to answer that, right? How many of you, and actually you can raise hands, how many of you believe you have created an ecosystem in your organization which actually is enabling your employees for a personalized learning experience? You can just raise hands. Not bad, right? But this is like what, 10%? Less than 10%? And that's the reality, right? And this is not very different from what is happening in other regions or geographies, right? Everybody knows it, that there is an elephant in the room to be addressed, but how many of us are actually going and addressing it, right? So my focus here today is going to be talking about how Adobe is helping our clients address this problem. And we keep talking about future of learning, right? There is a lot of future of the VR and the future of learning, and the future of learning is personalized. To know what our audience wants, to know what our employees want. So there is a lot of study which has been done, there is a lot of research which has been done on this particular topic in terms of the impact of personalization, right? And some leading, research firms have done this, research. What's the impact on business? Obviously, people are looking at learning as a way to retain their customers. And I think one of my colleagues, Savita, talked about it, right? How marketing looks at learning and how objective they are with their learning strategy and everything, right? In terms of teaching their customers or partners, right? Everything is objective, right? They need hard results. 80% of the consumers also prefer their learning experiences to be, personalized. Everything today is personalized. Everything is getting personalized, right? If you're using probably shopping, you're doing shopping through one of the e-commerce platforms, right? If you're actually part of a health, like a cult or something, right? Like the health, the food menus are getting personalized. If you fly a particular airline, everything is personalized. And this personalization is also happening in the learning domain with the learning technologies as well. And I want to go back to what Sonali was saying, that there was LMS, and then we have learning experiences, and we have learning experience platform. LMS cannot do learning experience platform. I want to probably change the way Sonali thinks, and probably some of you get LMS cannot do a learning experience, right? And I'll talk about that as we move forward. So 55% of the organizations are looking to create personalized learning. So many organizations, as I did mention, right, this is like #1 priority for them. So before I go to my next slide, how many of you use an Adobe solution? Adobe product? Raise your hand, please. I'm sure everybody uses Acrobat PDF, right? That's also Adobe, right? It's not free, we have a paid version also, right? So I'm sure 100%. How many of you use, or how many of you know about Adobe's digital learning solutions? And somebody can raise a hand, and if you tell me 3 products, right, you will get a goodie. Yes, please. Okay. I'll give you for Captivate Prime. That's only one. Everything else is a different. Yeah, Adobe Captivate Prime is now Adobe Learning Manager. So only one. Correct. Very good. Photoshop is not a learning solution. Flash is not a learning. So I got 2, right? Adobe Learning Manager, which was known as Captivate Prime. Connect, Adobe Connect, and I actually met some folks here who have been big Connect fans. They said, Adobe Connect, right? And there is another solution called Adobe Captivate, which is our authoring solution, right? So Adobe is probably one of the few technology companies which offers an end-to-end solution when you talk about digital learning. So the elephant is with us, right? So somebody showed that elephant, and we have also now partnered with another, another partner of ours in terms of providing content to our customers. So if anybody's looking at content, right, we partner with a company called Go1, and they have some 86,000 titles, crazy number of titles. I don't know who's going to go through all of that, but we also have that partnership in place. So how do we address personalization? So before I go into this, okay, sorry. Okay. So let me introduce you to Adobe Learning Manager, which was earlier known as Captivate Prime. I don't know where did you pick that name, but now it is Adobe Learning Manager. Integrated, right? So Adobe Learning Manager is the new Captivate Prime. So what is Adobe Learning Manager? It's a cloud-based learning platform, and it is not a typical LMS, right? I don't want to even call it an LMS, right? It's a learning platform. It's a digital learning platform, right? You want an LMS? It's an LMS. You want an LXP? It can become an LXP, right? So it is not a typical LMS. And why it's not a typical LMS? So one is that it helps you to create scalable learning solution, right? And with all the changes going on, like I'm sure all of you are kind of, every day there is some training happening, some audience, right? There is a lot of stuff which is being rolled out. How do you get that to the market, quickly? Personalized learning experiences, right? I spoke about it. How do you personalize learning experience? If somebody is interested in transitioning a career from HR to sales or marketing, right? How do they know how does the platform knows that, okay, these are the courses this person is looking at, right? Go back to your schools, right? And I also, think about my school days, right? Maybe if I would have gotten a little personalized attention from my teacher, I would have scored well in the subject. Can that be achieved in an organization, right? Can that be achieved using technology? Adobe Learning Manager can actually help you to achieve that because it does help you with the personalized learning. And all the reporting, statistics, right, which is all the impact, measuring the impact of the solution. What you're seeing on the right side is an actual screenshot. This is how the UI looks like, right? So some people talked about Netflix experience, right? So this UI is based on that Netflix kind of an experience because anybody can give you technology, right? There is a lot of tech available. Where are you going to get the experience from? Does experience matter, right? Anybody can give you technology. There are thousands of learning solutions, vendors and providers, right? Where would you get that experience? Do you want that experience for your employees? Do you want your employees to have the same experience like a Netflix or an iPhone? So how do we address this personalization? So there are a lot of inbuilt capabilities Adobe Learning Manager has. Number one, right, it has a personalized dashboard, right? You log into your personal, just like Netflix, you log in, Netflix already knows that, what genre of movies you like, right? Somebody likes thriller, somebody likes, drama. This platform knows, like, what kind of courses your learner wants to take, right? So if somebody is interested in data science, it will show up all the courses related to data science, right? It has badges and rewards also, which is not a great deal, but I think there is a lot of customization you can do with badges and rewards. Most importantly, it uses an AI-based recommendation which is built into Adobe and Adobe's own engine. It's called Adobe Sensei, right? So this platform is powered by Adobe Sensei, which is Adobe's own artificial intelligence platform, right? And so this platform has an artificial intelligence. So, when you talk about LMS and LXP, the LXPs have an artificial intelligence built into it. Like, it's powered by artificial intelligence, right? This platform has that. It has all kind of integrations, right? So I think Savita, go back to Savita, she was talking about, how marketing does campaign to get their customers, right? Different campaigns. And learning has become a sort of a campaign strategy, right? You educate your customers. You want to sell a product, right? You educate them, send them some educational content, send them some tutorial. Similarly, you can do that with your employees as well. All right, so that's my 5 minutes. I'll take 2 more minutes and then I will go to this other part of my discussion. And these are some of the out-of-the-box integrations, but you can actually integrate Adobe Learning Manager with any platform, right? As long as there is APIs, right? And I have my customer success head here, so I'm very careful about what I have to tell, right? And it also can integrate with external MOOCs like LinkedIn Learning, or if somebody wants to integrate with Coursera or Udemy, right? We don't have out-of-the-box, but there can be ways to kind of build that. So it can be integrated with any kind of platforms as long as there is APIs available. So somebody talked about a lot about innovation, right? Innovation, learning, innovation happens, right? And I think as an organization, one of the things I really take pride in Adobe is the kind of innovation we do, right? We have given blockbuster products when it comes to digital learning. So be it Captivate, be it Connect, right? Now Adobe Learning Manager, which is the new kid on the block, right? But innovation is part of our DNA. So we don't want you guys to think about this innovation. We are thinking about those for you, right? As your partner, right? And I don't even want you to think about us as a vendor, but as your partner, we are thinking about, what changes are happening, right? Because we are also bringing that experiences from your global peers, right? So these are the 5 pillars of innovation. So one is experience, right? Anybody can get you technology, but very few can actually give you the experience that you're looking at your audience. Second one is engagement. Third one is personalization, automation. And again, I'm not going to go through all of this. If you guys need the slides, we'll make sure that we provide you the slides. And with that, what I want to do is I want to invite one of our customer speakers, who was kind enough to accept my invite at a very short notice, because I can tell you all the great things about Adobe, right? But I think it's important to hear it from one of our customers. And they were one of our early adopters in India. So when we launched Adobe Learning Manager back in 2015, this company was one of the people who actually betted on us, saying that we want to partner with you guys. So I would like to call out Mr. Dinesh, and right here, Dinesh, please join. Please give a round of applause for Dinesh. So Dinesh, how are you doing?
Thank you.
Great, Dinesh. So first, Dinesh, I want you to talk a little bit about your company. So Dinesh works for 𝗧𝗵𝗏, right? I'm sure a lot of you in the services space would have known about 𝗧𝗵𝗏, and Dinesh is managing their L&D tech and everything. So quick introduction about your company and your role, Dinesh.
Sure. Thank you. So nice meeting you all after a lunch. I don't want to make you sleep. 𝗧𝗵𝗏, we are into an engineering service company, and we are about around 20,000 employees working. And we kind of work for different domains in the engineering, where you call it as a mechanical or aero or utilities or medical. So every domain. So that is a broad service area. And also we are into manufacturing, and we have our own manufacturing units in Mysore and in Hyderabad. And Hyderabad is the headquarters of 𝗧𝗵𝗏. And I've been engaged with 𝗧𝗵𝗏 for almost 14 years now. So I take care of all digital learning initiative in 𝗧𝗵𝗏, and I lead the digital learning team in 𝗧𝗵𝗏.
Awesome. All right, 13 years in 𝗧𝗵𝗏. Then what was the employee count for 𝗧𝗵𝗏 in 13 years back?
So it was around 7,000.
Right, so significant growth. Dinesh, how do you go about building a culture of learning in your organization?
Basically, what we have been, I've been engaged with L&D almost more than 10 years, and we were looking into a lot of learning and a lot of struggles we had, as everybody told about this learning is actually very difficult to make them to learn. If you ask the employee to learn, they will think that as a burden. So it is very complex for us to make them to adopt the learning. So what we thought, we wanted to make it more personalized, and also we wanted to have a new platform which engaged the user in a kind of they wanted to use it as a user-friendly user experience. So that was a challenge we were having, and we were able to use Adobe Learning Manager at around 2017. Yeah.
Great, and my next question is related to that, right? So 2017, we actually launched the platform in 2015, 2016, so just 1 year, right? So what was the strategy like, and how did you decide upon Adobe Learning Manager, even given the fact that it was a new platform?
System. I think everybody might have had that issue. So we wanted one platform which is good at the user experience. So what we thought, as a user, they should experience it well. And also as admin, you should not feel much pain to add a course or assign a course or whatever it is on the handling the LMS. So both should be user friendly. So that is what our fast aspect on identifying LMS. And we have been interacted with Cornerstone, and we also evaluated Workday LMS, all top LMS in the world. And one thing what we thought, we already using content development like Adobe Captivate and other Adobe products. And then we explored 𝗷𝗃𝗃𝗏, Adobe Learning Manager. And it was very user friendly. And one thing what we also did is, we took a pilot and we also asked our user to experience it. And we took a feedback from them and how was their experience. And based on that experience, and it's like more of like the user who are using, the learners and the employees, they should feel to use it. So they should not feel burdened to use the LMS. So that is the one thing, major core idea, thing what we decided, and we got a good feedback. Probably we took a pilot of around 500,000 people, and then we tested it, and like almost it is a journey of 6 months of journey of implementing this LMS, new Adobe Learning Management System.
Great. So it was like a land and expand, like you gradually started with small numbers and then you went to the expansion. So I spoke a lot about personalization, right? Personalization in learning, why personalization is important. What's the big deal about personalization? Why do you think personalization? Does it even matter?
So basically, see, nowadays we should go with the trend. So what is the trend now? Everybody are using Facebook and Facebook, Instagram. So these are like personalized for them. So if you see something on net, probably if you search something in the Facebook about any travel videos or something, so automatically you'll get a recommendation next day when you open the Facebook. Similarly, that experience has to come to the learners. So learners should not feel like, okay, this is a desktop application. I should go, where do I go and click on learn? So they should not feel that. They should not feel like they are disaligned from the overall trend. So then the recommendation-based learning from Adobe helped us a lot. So we key in a lot of connectors and we have a lot of content, and that has to reach the people. How does it reach? With the recommendation only. We cannot push the customer, we cannot push the learnings. So it has to come from them. So whatever they are interested, we are pushing that content, and it comes from that AI engine of recommendation-based learning. So that gives the overall personalized experience.
Great, great, Dinesh. So beyond the mandatory aspect of doing learning programs, what do you think motivates your employees and Sign to do the training? And how's the adoption overall?
Yeah, so adoption overall, I could say like in the first 2 years of implementation of this LMS, we had hardly around 10% of usage. And then we also did another survey, and we went a lot, and we also conducted a lot of orientation sessions. So the people are having a different mindset on the LMS. They feel it is not their part of learning. It is something they don't want to do. So if you ask the people to go and learn, definitely it's a burden for them. So what we did, we went across to all the location, and we given the session, orientation session, and we told them this is the new LMS, and these are the features available and lot of contents available, and personalization, and also it's interconnected with a lot of MOOC platforms. And we become a kind of marketing people from L&D to make sure to sell our LMS, to implement. And now if you see after 4 years of usage, we have around 75% of usage in our LMS.
Pretty good. My last question for you, Dinesh. Right, in terms of content, how does one look at build versus buy, and addressing the content challenges that you're for your reskilling needs for the employees?
So majorly what Adobe ALM supports on integrating with the external platforms, be it a LinkedIn Learning or a Coursera or edX or anything. So we have to provide a repository of learning to the user and what they wanted to learn. It is not like buy and push on them to learn. And we wanted something to interconnect it with the outer world. So they also wanted to explore other content what we provide other than the internal trainings. And also we created our internal learning managers to curate the content and push them internally. And with the XAPIs and with the API integration, we try to integrate with the Microsoft Learning Hub and edX and Coursera, so LinkedIn Learning. So these are some sort of external libraries we would like to, we brought in inside the LMS to import the learnings and also encourage the learners to explore many contents.
Awesome. Thank you, Dinesh, and thanks a lot for coming out here and kind of sharing some of your experiences. Right? Any last comments for the audience, Dinesh?
Yeah. So it is like kind of like when we are selling, like I heard like LMS is a kind of shelf, and you dump all the books there, and it's exactly correct. But we should also think how we can sell those books. So we should make them aware these books are available in the shelf. How to use it and how do you create that learning environment, it's in your hand. So it should not become, learning should not become a burden to the employees. It should be in the way of enjoy and gamification, so everything should be collaborated so that we can adopt more learning into our organization.
Awesome, thank you. Let's give a round of applause to Dinesh. So I hope you guys, all of you had some new learning. I know this is not a topic that I can contain within 20 minutes. It's a very deep topic, right? Two last takeaways, right? So when we talk about experience, it's not the technology experience. It's not just, you buy a tech from Adobe and you get that experience, right? It's also about the partnership, right? It's about, the post-sales experience, customer success, customer service. I think that's also the experience that we're talking about. The second important thing I want to tell you about is this entire digital learning solutions for Adobe, especially Adobe Learning Manager, is actually a product which is built in India, right? And we are actually selling to global clients from India itself, right? So it's a made in India product, and all the engineering team, development, everything happens out of here. And if you guys have some crazy idea about learning platform and what can change, you're more than welcome to come to our office and share that idea with our engineering heads and product leaders. On that note, I will wrap up. I know I exceeded my time. Any questions from the audience? Right? If not, then yeah, we'll be happy to talk with any of you guys. Feel free to stop by our booth. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks.